Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Crypto Wall Street. Today we're going to talk about blockchain because it seems like every time we're looking up a new cryptocurrency coming out, the word blockchain comes up again. So I want to make sure that we understand what blockchain actually is. And to answer that, I've invited Tom Hoffman. Welcome.
Thank you.
He has a degree in computer science and engineering with specifically interest in distributed computing and blockchain as well, and been involved in that from the beginning. So thank you for taking time to talk with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Charlie.
So, Tom, let me just ask you here straight out of the gate, what is blockchain and how does it work?
That's a very good question. A lot of people, I don't think, fully understand what blockchain is. It's really a combination of computer science technology and mathematics, and it's basically the underpinning for a lot of transactions that we do, specifically cryptocurrency. I'd say the most important thing for people to understand about blockchain is it's a way to do distributed ledgers, which is a way to keep track of transactions, whether they be monetary or other, in a way that's very secure. So for example, if you want to exchange money or you want to exchange data between two people, you can use a blockchain technique, and what that does is it allows you to know for sure that that data will always be there, because the technology is such that you never erase data out of a blockchain. You're continually adding blocks, and you're continually updating the transactions related to each of those blocks forever. And so data never gets erased, it just always gets appended. Every time there's a transaction, all the nodes on the distributed network, you might think of them as people, all the people on the network have to agree that that's a valid transaction before it actually is recognized by the network. Once it's recognized, that's there forever, and any other transactions are just added to that. So it makes it very difficult, actually computationally impossible, for people to change past exchange or transactions. So from that standpoint, it's a very secure system for people to exchange data.
Interesting, Tom. What keeps popping up in my mind here is I always kind of like to think in way of solving problems and solutions. What kind of problems are blockchain actually solving?
Well, blockchain's only been around for about 10 years. It came around in 2008. So it's actually a relatively new technology, and already we're seeing a huge impact from things like cryptocurrency. That's the most obvious thing that everybody sees. Bitcoin was the very first cryptocurrency that's based on blockchain. The person who started, or organization nobody actually knows, Satoshi Nakamoto. We don't know if that's a person or an entity. It's very interesting. That's a whole other topic we can even go into in a later discussion maybe. But in any case, there was a seminal paper that was published in 2008 on blockchains, and that's the basis for what became Bitcoin. However, that underlying technology of blockchain has tremendous potential for other uses. For example, anytime you want to exchange data securely, whether it be financial data or any other kind of data, that's a great way to do it. So I could see, and it's already being discussed and implemented, you could have your checking account be on a blockchain instead of being held at the bank. You could have your medical records on a blockchain. You could have any number of other financial activities, such as real estate exchanges, could be on a blockchain. So the technology underneath that has tremendous potential for any situation where you want to have largely distributed data that's actually very secure. So only the two people that are involved in the transaction can see what that data is.
That's interesting, Tom. You know, you actually touch upon a little bit about my next question here, which is related to average people like all of us here. So how would the blockchain technology affect me in the future?
You know, it's really hard to predict exactly where it's going to go because it is still a fairly new technology. There's a lot of accounting firms that are looking at the uses for that. Medical firms are looking at the uses. There's even governments that are considering putting out potentially their currency in the form of a cryptocurrency. My guess is it'll end up impacting you in ways that we can't know of today, and I think the technology is such that eventually you won't even know that what you're using, the underlying technology, is blockchain.
Yeah.
Because as an average person, you don't have to know anything about the technology. It's actually not terribly complex to understand, but you wouldn't need to have to understand that to know that your data now, that sometimes people are always very concerned about their data being hacked. You know, every week we hear about, you know, another break-in someplace. That's one of the problems and the flaws with like a centrally held system. It's only as good as the firewall or the central person or organization holds that. When it's a distributed system with keys that allow just the right people to get in there, it's much more secure. So I think any place where you wanted to have large amounts of data available very securely, blockchain is a good potential avenue for that, and I could see that in any number of places in the future.
You touched upon it a little bit as well. It relates back to what I asked about in the question here, what I talked about, namely cryptocurrencies, because I'm thinking, just pops up in my mind here, how is blockchain related to cryptocurrency?
Yeah, so blockchain is the technology that underlies all cryptocurrencies. There's subtle differences in the way that they do some of the transactions internal to the system. They have different techniques that they use for developing their coins, in the way that you mine them, how quickly they become available for mining. All of those things vary from one cryptocurrency to the other, but they're all underpinned by a blockchain technology, because it is a fairly simple way to have a distributed and incredibly secure system, because there's no incentive for anybody to try to break in and hack the system, because if they're running a computer that's that powerful, they might as well just mine more coins. They're going to make more money. So it's an interesting risk-reward system that really rewards people who are honest. It sort of forces you to be honest. Which we need more of. We need more of that today, I think.
It's true, absolutely. We definitely do, yeah. Just the final question here for you, Tom. So I'm just thinking, like, how do you think blockchain will disrupt the way we, exchange money and do business in the future?
Well, I think sometimes disruptive technologies sometimes can be a scary thing for people to think about. I don't know that it'll be disruptive as more helpful for us.
Okay.
I mentioned some of those ways, I think, in some of our financial transactions, maybe how we exchange goods and services, how we do real estate transactions, recording deeds. In a lot of countries, that's a big problem. It's very complicated. There's a potential for a lot of fraud. In any area where you want to have a trusted, verified system that everybody can see is valid at all times, I think that's a place where blockchain definitely has a future. I would imagine that 10 or 15 years from now, if we have another interview, we will both be surprised by how much and how many different ways blockchain's used. And I think, again, for the most people, they won't even know that that's the underlying technology that is supporting many of the transactions that they're conducting at that time.
Yeah, interesting. Well, thank you, Tom. You definitely clarified some points for us here. Appreciate you taking time.
Absolutely.
To come here.
It was fun.
Thank you. So if you haven't already signed up for my weekly newsletter, please do so. There's a link below this video. And if you have any questions for either Tom or I'm happy, we'll both be ready to answer them. So just leave a comment below this video. With that being said, I just wish you a happy trading day.